If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So, what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Hope you guys are doing great so far. Sorry the video's late, I'm kind of making a habit out of it at this point. But yeah, today we have some, what's formation? 4-3-2-1 custom tactics and player instructions for you guys. If you are struggling in FC24, one of the most popular formations yet again this year, since it fits to the meta very well. And yeah, with all that aside guys, I hope you enjoy the video and let's get right into it. Okay then guys. So starting off with the tactics for the 4-3-2-1 on the defensive style, you guys know by now I like to have this on balance. Now the reason I have it on balanced every time is because it suits me the best. With balance you can pick and choose when and where you press your opponent, and then also if you want to drop off and maybe be a bit more passive. So I like balance personally, but you guys might prefer a pressure tactic. That is absolutely fine, but again, I have this on balance. You do whatever you want to do. Moving on to the defensive width guys, no real specific number you need to use, but I'd suggest anywhere between like 40 and 50. 50 obviously being a bit wider and then 40 being more narrow. I've just got it on 42 at the moment, no specific number, but it's just been working. Keeps you nice and narrow and compact in the defense, but also does give you decent enough width to cover the wider areas in case an opponent goes for an attack down the wing. So really nice and balanced, which is why I do use it. Moving on to the depth guys, you have a couple different options. One of the most popular ones is 71 depth, and I will say 71 depth obviously very good, very overpowered in the meta of this game, but the thing I'll also say about 71 depth is you need the most meta of meta defenders. So we're not just talking like Gold Van Dijk or Maldini, we're talking more like Team of the Year Van Dijk. You know, you need the absolute best of the best, because what you'll find is people have crazy attackers with really good pace and dribbling, and then these gold defenders like Van Dijk and Maldini, they're just not quick enough to keep up with them. So, you know, you need the absolute best of the best when you are using 71 depth, in my opinion. So what I do is I just use something like 60, where we still have a decently high defensive line, and we can still win the ball back higher up the pitch, but we're not constantly automatically pressing, and our players aren't always getting pulled out of position, if that makes sense. Moving on to the build-up play, guys, as always, I also have this on balance. Now, I like balanced in the build-up because I find it to be the most consistent, the most varied way to build up. So when you use balance, for example, if you want to play up build up the play slow, losing my words again, you can, and then if you want to maybe speed up and play a bit quicker because you decide to, you can also do that. So balance lets you like mix and match between the build-ups, and lets you, you know, be more controlled in your attack. Now for the chance creation guys, this one is the only absolute must in my opinion, especially on the new gen version of the game. This is direct passing. Now direct passing super important in the meta of this game, because it's the only way you can actually consistently score. Now the reason direct passing is so good is because the way this game works with all the park the bus defense and stuff like that, direct passing means your attackers often bunch up against the opposition defenders, meaning it's easy to isolate a specific defender and take them on in like a 1v1 type play, almost like a basketball play. As well as that, direct passing also means your attackers will make these runs. The defender will follow the attacker making that run, and then once the defender has overcommitted, the attacker will track back so you can cut back to them, because there'll be a bit of space between the two. So it's a really boring tactic. Everyone hates it, but there's no denying how effective it is. Now moving on to the attacking width guys, I have it on 57 at the moment. No specific number you need to use. We do use a higher width than we would in previous FIFAs or FC games, because, you know, going through the middle can be a lot more difficult. So 57's been alright. Sometimes feels a little bit too wide, so I'm thinking about lowering this even more. But anywhere from like, I'd say like 45 to 60, and you're pretty good, to be honest. It's just whatever you want to use. But 57's been alright for me. Players in the box guys, have it on 5, bang in the middle. We'll get a few players into the box, but we don't overcommit everybody, of course. And then the corners and the free kicks guys, we just have these on 2 at the moment, but you can do whatever you want with that. You know, there's not a specific number you need to use. Now moving on to the player instructions guys, on the striker at the moment we just have them on stay central and get in behind. Now we don't need this player drifting out wide, we've already got like forwards next to them, so we don't need them to do that. Stay central keeps them in the most you know, clinical positions, if that makes sense, where you want your striker to be. They're not going to be too much use use if they are drifting out wide all the time. So stay central is the way to go there. And then we also do pop this player on getting behind at the moment because I am using Team of the Year CR7, very quick player, very good at running and, you know, getting those first touches away and stuff like that. So getting behind's been great as he does have really good attacking AI. If you don't want to use getting behind though, you can use mixed attack and that is absolutely fine. Now for the right forward guys, we just pop them on stay central and get in behind as well. Same instructions as the striker. The reason we have them on stay central as opposed to balance width is because on balance width sometimes it can make it feel more like a 4-3-3, which is not exactly what you want out of this formation as such. So stay central keeps them in the more narrow lanes, but you can take them out wide manually if you want to do that. We obviously also have this player on getting behind as well, so we can utilize this player's pace to get in behind those high defensive lines that people use with the 71 depth. Moving on to the left forward guys, we just pop them on comeback on defense. Now the reason we do this is because it will make it defend in a 4-4-2 shape. This again is a pretty boring tactic. Everyone's seen this 100 times at this point, I'm pretty sure, but it's so good because the 4-4-2 shape is good at defending both the narrow areas with the two centre mids and then also the wider areas with the right mid and the left mid. So on comeback on defense, this player will come back to defend as a left mid in the 4-4-2 shape, meaning you're going to be very good in both the attack and the defense. So even if it is a bit boring, it's also very effective guys. Moving on to the middle centre mid, this is the more defensive minded player that I use. We use Petit at the moment, and on him we just pop him on stay back and cover centre. Stay back of course because we don't want him flying forward if he is the more defensive minded midfielder, and then cover centre so that he'll primarily cover those central areas when defending, because as I said, defends in a 4-4-2 shape. We'll have two players covering the wings. Moving on to the left centre mid guys, we use a more box to box style player, so somebody that will attack and defend, have a bit of a free roll and do whatever they need to do. So on this player, we just leave them on the default settings. We let them cook, we let them do what they want, give them that freedom. Really nice to have a player like Sauer in this position because they're good at everything, you know. The only thing we change is putting them on cover centre, so like the other centre mid, they'll defend as one of the two centre mids in the 4-4-2 shape. Now moving on to the right centre mid guys, because I said it defends in a 4-4-2, if we pop this player on cover wing, it'll make them defend as the right mid in that 4-4-2 shape. So what you can do is use a more attacking minded player here because you don't have to worry so much about their defensive stats. If you can get a player like Zico who does have a good defensive work rate as well as a good attacking work rate and good defensive stats on top of everything, then that's an added bonus, but don't stress too much if you can't get that. You can just use somebody like Mbappe if you want, or anybody, you know, just use any attacker you want and pop them on get forward and get into the box across and cover wing and you'll be absolutely fine guys. Moving on to the fullbacks, what I'm doing at the moment a little bit different to what I'd normally do. So what I would normally do is pop one of the more attacking minded fullback on balanced overlap, so we get that extra width. You know, we've always got that fullback going forward. But what I decide to do now is keep them both on stay back while attacking and overlap by default. And then when I want to attack with them, I'll either use the L1 bumper to send them forward, or I'll use the D-pad tactics to send both fullbacks on the attack, and then I can just deactivate that through the D-pad whenever I want to as well. So it can get a little bit fidgety, but if you don't want to do that, you can just pop one fullback or, you know, none of them on balanced attack and overlap and you'll be absolutely fine. But it's just whatever you want to do with them. And yeah, for the two centre backs, we leave them alone, and the keeper, I also leave them alone. But yeah, guys, they are my tactics and instructions for the 4-3-2-1. If you guys have found this video useful, please be sure to drop it a thumbs up, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.